Hello, everybody. It is a great day to be a junior Potter. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2020. The end of the week, we're going to start up May. Some great things lie ahead. So let's get to it with a couple of general announcements happening right above me there. Always remember, attendance form, 11 a.m. I'm going to try to do one post a day. You can always resubmit. Just let a teacher know through email that you're resubmitting something and you would like a better score. And then they'll take a look at it. That should go for everybody. Just make sure you ask. Don't just resubmit something and, don't mention it, because then we might not see it. Because we don't always get notifications on the resubmits, but we should. But just let us know. And if there's anything you need to know, questions about, just ask. We'll try our best to answer anything that you have there. There are plans for updating things or not updating, but end of the year things happening. Our awards night and all that kind of stuff that happens towards the end of the year. We're working on things to happen virtually since we, have this stay in place order throughout May. You have to wear masks now everywhere, so we're still hopefully working out the how and when those things will be taking place and how that happens. So stay tuned for more updates. Mr. Hoffman will have that kind of stuff going out there for you. But I do want to let you know that we are working on things to try to do the end of the year school wrap up. So, because we're getting to that point, May 20th, less than a month from today, is our last day of school. That's kind of cool to think about, that we're almost done with this crazy adventure, and then hopefully down the line we'll be able to reconvene in person again at some point. That's our hope, as always there. So without further ado, let's get into what we're doing today. It's another one of our Pear Deck things. It's the easiest way to communicate the notes out to everybody before we do our activities. So we're going to do one again. This is your 5th time, I believe, doing one of these, and you guys are doing awesome on them. This one's a little bit shorter because it's kind of a more condensed topic. As you click on the link, which the link will be in the post multiple times. It's found in the schedule, but it's also found as an attachment as well. The code will be up there, but you shouldn't need the code if you just go directly to the link. It's a great day to be a junior Potter, so we're feeling happy about it. I'll walk you through some of the key things of it. You can see already down in the corner. Maybe you can't, so let me full screen it. Oh, but then you can't see anything anyways in the corner there because I'm in that corner. So let me just move myself over to this side of the screen. Yep, there we go. Boom. I'm on that side of the screen now. You can see we only have 9 slides today as part of our slideshow. Usually they've been about 10 to 12, maybe 15 at the most. Only 9 today, and the first one's the cover slide here. So really, you're going to be looking at 8 things that we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's go ahead and jump right into some of those things. We're going to be talking about symbiotic relationships. And for symbiotic relationships, we're going to be focusing on a lot of the time how things interact with each other. So when we're talking about how things interact with each other, we're talking about the role that the organism has, which is their niche or their niche. I've heard it said both ways before. You can really pronounce it either way. But it's the role that the organism plays, what it eats, where it sleeps, how it obtains that food. Basically, everything that describes what the animal does in the environment is its niche, it's its niche to it. So we're going to be talking about a lot of niches and a lot of niches as we go through things in today's stuff here. So what exactly is the symbiosis? Let's say that a couple times. Symbiosis. 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 What that is basically the relationship that 2 animals have. And it could have a negative relationship or it could have a positive relationship with one another. Basically, when we're saying relationship, it's just any kind of interaction that they have between the two. And it's not just like passing each other. They actually interact on a more daily basis on things here. So there's a couple of types of symbiosis. And look, you don't even have to do this slide either because there's no questions on it. So once again, another thing that you don't have to worry about there. The first one is our most obvious one. We talked about it during natural selection. This is our competition, struggling to get some kind of resource. So they're going at whatever it is there, and they're trying to get at the same resource, whatever that be: food, water, shelter, mates. We saw the giraffes fighting over each other. All those things would be competition. It was one of our driving factors of natural selection, so you should be familiar with this one at least. There's a couple of questions on there. You can number them 1, 2, 3 on the thing. And unless it says so, you do not have to give complete sentences. So unless it says give a complete sentence, you do not have to give one. Second one is predation. Who's going to be eating who? That's a relationship. It's a negative relationship for the one that's getting eaten, but it's a positive relationship to the one that's doing the eating. So anything of one animal eating the other is going to be predation at that point. We've got, now we're getting into the real hardcores of the symbiotic relationships, probably the newer ones to you. We've got our first one, which is mutualism, which you might have heard the word mutual before. That means both parties benefit somehow. So it's a win-win situation. Both of them are smiley faces in this case, if we're going to put the smiley face kind of analogy to it or metaphor to it. So both of them are happy. So this would be, we got an example there of the oxpeckers on the hippopotamus there. The little tiny birds, when they eat the stuff off of the hippo is getting cleaned, while at the same time the birds are getting food. So it's a win-win situation going on there. Or, basically anything of that sort. You could have like a bee pollinating a flower. It's a win for the flower. It's a win for the bee. One's getting food, one's getting pollinated there. So it's win-win. Basically, when both parties benefit, it's mutualism. Commensalism, now this one's probably the weirdest one out of the bunch, because what happens is that one thing benefits and the other one does not. So like we got an example here of a spider in a tree. The spider can build its home and nest and everything. I guess it's not a nest, it's a web. It'd be a bird nest, but birds could be in the same boat as this. They build it in the tree. They don't harm the tree necessarily, unless it's like a woodpecker boring into it, but they're going to build their nest, build their home, build their web in the tree, and then they're going to live there. So the spider is getting protection, the bird is getting protection or a place to make their home, whereas the tree usually isn't getting harmed or hurt, or it's not helping them either, because it's a tree, they just need the sunlight, so as long as they're not blocking out the sun, hey, more power to them, right? You're going to use me for your benefit, essentially. So one of them's happy, one of them kind of has that meh face going on, if you know what I'm talking about there. And then our very last one, which is probably has the grossest examples out of the batch there, is parasitism, having a parasite, which is something that the parasite is the one that benefits the host organism, which is what we say is the thing that the parasite infects, is going to be the one that has the negative side of this relationship. It's kind of like predation in a way, except with parasitism, the parasite doesn't actually want the host to die. Because if the host dies, they don't get any food. And usually parasites are very small, so it's very hard for them to get from place to place. So they usually just live on one host their entire lifespan until they, need to, reproduce and then make more copies of themselves and all that kind of jazz. But usually they live just on the host for their life because they'll be happy as long as they don't kill it off. But unfortunately, what comes with that is a lot of diseases and stuff, like with bacteria, mosquitoes. You can get kind of sick from some of those things and some of the diseases that they transmit. So usually they do end up killing them off eventually, but it's not by like predation where they're solely eating the flesh and the meat off of them. No, it is more of a, they're just draining whatever they need from them and they're satisfied with it, but the host is going to be negatively impacted by it. And that is the last slide. Remember, as always, as you're putting your answers into the side there, you get the little check mark as long as all the slides have the little check mark on them. Remember, 2 of them you don't even have to do, so you only have 7 slides to worry about. Now, I know there's multiple questions on some of those, but when you read them, you'll kind of see how there's a flow, and it's kind of similar questions, especially when we get to the types of symbiosis going on there. We ask you similar sets of questions just based on that particular type of relationship. Now, I will say that there's more than 5 relationships that exist out there in the wild. These are the core 5, the main 5, the fave 5, if you will, and the ones that we're going to deal with. But there's lots of them out there, but they're very specific and only have certain situations where they're going to be prevalent or around in. So these are the ones that are more widespread. And we're going to take a look at that later on in the week as we go through things. But I'm already, I see, at the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to let you go with that. If you have any questions whatsoever, do not be afraid to reach out, ask for some help there. And always remember, I hope you're staying safe, staying well, everything's treating you fine there. And it is a great day to be a junior Potter.